Freedom. It's a word that echoes through history, a promise that has inspired revolutions and shaped nations. But what does it really mean today, in a world that's more connected and more monitored than ever before? We talk about it all the time: freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, the right to choose our own path. These are the foundations of open societies, the rights we cherish and defend. But what if the meaning of freedom is being quietly rewritten, not in Parliament but in the server rooms of tech giants and governments? What if the new battleground for liberty isn't the streets but the digital world? Enter the digital ID, marketed as a convenient way to prove who you are online. It's the next step in our digital evolution, a tool that promises to make life easier, faster, and more secure. It promises to simplify your life, a single key for every digital door. No more juggling dozens of passwords, no more forgotten logins. Just one identity, seamlessly connecting you to everything you need. But convenience is the bait, and privacy is the price. Every click, every login, every transaction, recorded, tracked, and stored. The more we rely on digital IDs, the more we reveal about ourselves, often without even realizing it. Every part of your life is moving online: banking, healthcare, social connections, even groceries. The digital world is no longer separate from the real one. It's where we live, work, and connect. To access these essential services, you need to prove your identity. It's becoming the new normal, a requirement for participation in modern society. Right now, it's messy. Passwords, documents, endless logins. We're all familiar with the frustration of forgotten credentials and the hassle of proving who we are again and again. The digital ID offers to clean up the mess, but at what cost? What do we give up in exchange for this new simplicity? Governments worldwide are pushing these systems, promising safety and efficiency. They say it will protect us from fraud, streamline bureaucracy, and make our lives better. But a single centralized ID is also a single point of failure and control. If someone holds the key, they can open or lock every door in your digital life. It knows everything about you, and what it knows can be used against you. Your habits, your movements, your choices, all mapped, analyzed, and potentially weaponized. The leash is being forged, and we're being trained to slip it on, all for a little convenience. We're told it's for our own good, but who decides what's good for us? Imagine a world where every action leaves a digital trace, and every trace is tied to your identity. The freedom to be anonymous, to reinvent yourself, to make mistakes and start over, could vanish in a world of perfect records. In the past, tyranny needed soldiers and spies. It relied on force, on fear, on physical control. Now it's built with code and rolled out as a software update. The tools of control are invisible, embedded in the devices we use every day. The next logical step after digital ID is already being tested in the real world. In China, the social credit score system takes digital identity to a new level, where every action, purchase, and interaction is monitored, scored, and judged by the state. This system allows the government to reward or punish citizens based on their behavior, granting privileges to those who comply, and restricting access to travel, jobs, or even basic services for those who don't. It's a society where freedom is conditional and every move is watched. The parallels to George Orwell's vision in 1984 are chilling. A world where surveillance is total, dissent is dangerous, and individuality is suppressed for the sake of order. The risk is clear. We could become a society where freedom is sacrificed for convenience and control, and where the cost of stepping out of line is exclusion from modern life itself. It's disguised as progress, wrapped in the language of security. We're told it's inevitable, that resistance is futile, that this is simply the future. This is the new frontier, a world where your access to society can be switched off with a click. One error, one disagreement, and you could find yourself locked out of the digital world, and by extension, the real one. The real question isn't whether digital ID is convenient, but whether it's worth the price, our freedom. Are we trading away our autonomy for a promise of safety and ease? Once freedom is digitized, it can be deleted. Rights that exist only in code can be erased with a keystroke, lost in a system we don't control. The stakes have never been higher. In this new era, the fight for freedom isn't just about laws or borders. It's about who controls the code and who decides what it means to be free. Australia, land of kangaroos, endless horizons, and a reputation for laid-back living. But beneath the sunburnt skies, something is quietly changing. The government has just introduced a sweeping new digital ID law, promising to transform how Australians prove who they are, online and off. Officials insist it's voluntary and secure, but the boiling frog analogy fits perfectly here. The water is heating up, and most people don't even realize it. Change is happening slowly, almost imperceptibly, until suddenly it's too late to jump out. This law was pushed through Parliament at breakneck speed, with barely any real debate or meaningful public consultation. Many Australians only heard about it after the fact. It's a classic move. Sell it as progress, as a leap into the digital future, rather than what it could also be. An unprecedented expansion of surveillance and control. Over $1 billion taxpayer dollars have been poured into building this system, even though few citizens ever asked for it, and many still don't fully understand what it means for their privacy. The official promise? Safer, more convenient access to government and private services, all at your fingertips. But the reality is more complicated. Centralizing sensitive personal data in one digital hub creates a tempting target for hackers, cybercriminals, and even misuse by authorities. We're told to trust the government to keep our data safe, even though past blunders and data leaks have left many skeptical. The track record isn't exactly reassuring. This isn't the first time Australia has tried something like this. Remember the failed Australia card in the 1980s? Public backlash killed it then. Now, the idea is back, but this time it's wrapped in the sleek packaging of a smartphone app. It's more convenient, more palatable, and potentially more powerful than ever before. The temperature is rising, degree by degree, as digital systems quietly become the new normal. The question is, will Australians and the rest of us notice what's happening before we're all boiled in the pot of convenience and control? The warning signs are there, clear as day. The choice to act, to question, or to accept remains ours for now. Digital ID isn't just about identification. It's the backbone behind COVID-19 passports and even carbon tax tracking. These systems are sold as tools for public safety, but in reality, they're data collection engines designed for tracking and control. Every check-in, every payment, every movement, all logged, all linked together. Your digital footprint becomes a map of your life, minute by minute. Movement restrictions, justified as safety measures, are now enforced with digital ID, making it easy to monitor and limit where you go. This isn't just about lost privacy. Digital ID can be weaponized against you. It starts with tracking your movements, but it doesn't end there. Social credit systems, already linked to digital ID, can punish you for your political views. In Australia and elsewhere, weak privacy laws mean your data is wide open for abuse. Your life is an open book, and the authorities hold the pen. For example, if you post anti-immigration views online, hate speech laws could see your bank account frozen, or even land you in prison for incitement to hate. The system is built for observation and control, and it's already being used to silence dissent. Digital ID is sold as a convenience, but it's a serious threat to personal freedom. This isn't just Australia's problem, it's global. Around the world, countries are grappling with the same issues of digital identity and data security. The implications are far-reaching and affect every aspect of our lives. India's Aadhaar promised inclusion, but brought data breaches and denied services to the vulnerable. Millions of people found themselves unable to access essential services, highlighting the risks of centralized digital systems. Estonia's digital ID, hailed as a model, suffered a security flaw that threatened hundreds of thousands. This incident served as a stark reminder that even the most advanced systems are not immune to vulnerabilities. When society relies on a single digital system, one breach can be catastrophic. The consequences can ripple through every sector, from healthcare to finance, affecting millions of lives. The UK, Canada, and the EU are all rolling out similar systems, using the same language of convenience and security. They promise a seamless digital experience, but at what cost? But the architecture is always the same: centralized control over your digital life. This centralization makes it easier for governments and corporations to monitor and control individual behavior. This is a global agenda, not isolated policy. Countries are adopting similar frameworks, creating a web of interconnected digital identities. It paves the way for linking ID to programmable money and social credit. This could lead to unprecedented levels of control over personal freedom and financial autonomy. The risks are real, and the warnings are clear. We must pay attention. As these systems become more integrated into our daily lives, the need for vigilance and robust safeguards becomes ever more critical. If digital ID is so risky, why the global push? It's not grassroots demand, it's top-down, driven by groups like the World Economic Forum. The WEF calls digital ID essential for their vision of the future centralized planning, managed populations. Digital ID is the foundation for social credit, carbon tracking, and programmable money. Tech giants and consulting firms stand to profit, lobbying governments and shaping policy. Decisions are made in closed rooms, not open debate. We're not being asked, we're being told. The agenda is public, and the consequences are profound. Mandatory digital ID creates a new social divide. Millions, elderly, poor, rural, disabled, lack the tech or skills to comply. Denied access to services, they become digital outcasts. In India, tech failures have led to real suffering, even starvation. Even those with access may refuse on principle, but voluntary quickly becomes mandatory. A two-tier society emerges, the compliant and the excluded. Around the world, governments and organizations like the World Economic Forum are openly advocating for a one-world order, an integrated global system where control is centralized. Digital ID is a crucial step in this vision, giving authorities unprecedented power to monitor, restrict, and shape our lives on a global scale. The system pressures everyone to conform, punishing dissent with exclusion. This isn't progress, it's digital segregation. We must not accept it. The way digital ID laws are passed is as troubling as the systems themselves. In Australia and elsewhere, legislation is rushed, debate is stifled, and public input is minimal. Complex technical jargon hides the real dangers. Trust us, it's for your own good. But democracy dies without scrutiny. Amendments are superficial, non-digital options are temporary. Over time, digital becomes the only path. This is a top-down imposition, not genuine governance. Laws passed in the dark cannot claim true consent. It's a quiet coup against liberty. We must demand transparency and debate. Orwell's 1984 warned of total surveillance. Now we carry the telescreen in our pockets. Digital ID links our devices directly to the state's central brain. It's not forced on us. We're seduced by convenience. The system maps your mind, beliefs, interests, politics. Social credit scores, already real in China, could become global. Dissent could mean losing access to travel, banking, or work. It's a digital prison, walls invisible but inescapable. Fear of being switched off ensures compliance. We're told to trade privacy for security, but history warns us. That's a losing bargain. Digital ID is the ultimate Faustian deal. We're building our own cage and calling it progress. Big Brother would be proud. We stand at a crossroads: total digital control or true freedom. Digital ID is not just tech, it's the backbone of a new power structure. It opens the door to social credit, programmable money, and algorithmic control. The choice is stark convenience or liberty. History shows, power that can be abused will be. Resistance starts with awareness and honest debate. Our freedom is not for sale. The window to choose is closing. Will we act or sleepwalk into a digital cage?